Hello and welcome back to the Break Free Find Joy podcast. I'm your host, Brady Sickles, and this is episode 7. I can't wait to hop in here and talk to you about the topic of input and output and how what we consume and put out into the world affects us in our day-to-day lives. I'll see you in there. Hi guys, this is an episode I've wanted to do for a long time, but I put it off for a million reasons, and then I recorded a long part of it and then had some things happen and I deleted it, and so I'm starting from scratch again. And it's probably going to go pretty quick. So here's the thing. 7 months ago, I took a hiatus. I kept thinking that I would start again after. So we had family members living with us. One of them moved out before I started the podcast, and then the other one was out. I don't know. I don't even remember. It's been months ago now. But I told myself, well, after she moves, then we'll move stuff around and I'll start the podcast again. That didn't happen. We went on vacation and I was like, oh, after vacation, all the reasons why I could put it off, that's what I used. And during that time, I definitely went down and was struggling, just really having a hard time moving forward with anything. I felt so stuck and I was super irritable and cranky. And this was a huge part of going on this vacation. I can't wait until I get on here with Richard so we can talk about that more. But we went on a vacation at the end of June into July, the first vacation we've ever gone on together without the kids. First time I've been away from the kids for 5 days. It was in Montana. It was absolutely beautiful. I got so much freedom there. I had a coaching session while I was there. Came up with these I would say, I can't even, like basically a course that I would go through for coaching. And I was really excited to launch my own coaching program. And then I let life happen, I guess. I did post something and out there, had a few people interested, and then it didn't go anywhere. And then I didn't push, which again put me back into this just really negative mindset. So I got back into therapy after we got back from vacation. I actually kept putting off calling, and then because they're wonderful, they called to check in on me and got me scheduled. I got in there, and during that session, he was asking me what's the difference when things are going well, like when I'm feeling better. And there's a lot of different things. This would be different for you than it is for me because it's very personal things, but like reading, meditating, taking the dogs for a walk, waking up before the kids, things like that. And during the session, like it came out, I wasn't doing any of those things. And it wasn't, I keep saying the lie that like, oh, I don't have time. And it's partially true, but technically right now I don't have time to be doing this podcast if I'm not setting boundaries for myself to be able to get it done. But I do have time. The kids can stay later at daycare if needed. It's just I put pressure on myself because I feel like I'm a bad mom if I don't pick the kids up right after I get off work. So I'm not prioritizing myself. I'm not showing up for me so I can show up for my life. And it started a domino effect. And so I would say I've been in pretty much a constant fight or flight state for like the last year up until like the last month or two. we had a lot of things going on within our family. Just a lot of things from my past that were coming up again. And I started to pay attention more to what I'm consuming, the input and the output, like I said in the intro, like what am I allowing in my life? Boundaries became this really big thing. It's been something I've been working on for the last 2 years, actually, but I would say boundaries became incredibly important at the beginning of this year. And I've struggled with that. I'm not good with boundaries. I don't feel like I self-betray very often. I say, I'm going to do this. For instance, I said every Saturday morning I would wake up and I'm going to take 2 to 3 hours to dedicate to getting stuff ready to do coaching and the podcast. And that's something that I've said since, I think, December, and I have not done that. And it's no one else's fault. There are things that come up, but like I didn't hold that boundary. And so with social media, I started not paying attention to how much I was scrolling. I did have time limits on everything, and then I shut them off. And YouTube, podcasts, like there were so many things that I just started consuming so much stuff without really paying attention to how it made me feel, whether I was indifferent, if it maybe increased my negative thoughts or anything like that. And slowly, as I consumed more, I stopped putting out content. I stopped putting out just any like posts. I think I did do some more lives and things, but I just became someone who was consuming things and not paying attention to how it affected me. So that's my main question for you. And it doesn't have to be, this isn't a big grand thing and it has to be a life-altering thing, but do you notice what you consume, and does it affect you? Like, do you notice a difference, or is it something you just do and you don't ask yourself? This could be music. That was one of the big things that I hadn't really thought about. But there's some music that I can't listen to, or I struggle to listen to because it brings up thoughts or memories from the past. Most of it is music that I would listen to during a time where I was very depressed and had suicidal thoughts. And even though I'm in a good place now, those songs can bring up just a lot of those negative feelings. And if I don't have the time, which I haven't, or I just wasn't present enough to recognize it, and then now I could tap on it. I've been doing tapping. It's been incredibly helpful. But I would listen to these songs and then not recognize that that's where the irritability is coming from, or the frustration, anger, all of these different things. And after having that session with my, with my therapist, it really helped me see, like, I still have that Post-it note. I have it upstairs where it's like, this is your prescription. You need to work on doing these things. And just trying to push myself out of my comfort zone to remember, and really remember for this podcast too, like, my whole thing for doing coaching, for doing the podcast, for trying to share content, all of it is about wanting to help people break free from their negative thoughts, any negative patterns, things that are holding them back, and to find joy in their daily lives. And to do that by first showing up for themselves so that they can show up for the lives and the people around them and the people that they hope to serve. So there was a lot of shame attached to it. I was really shaming myself for the fact that I was struggling so much when here I am trying to help people. And then I was trying to make myself better, and I had to be so much better before I could start again. And that's never going to happen. No, it's not that I'm not going to get better, but I was being perfectionistic, and that's just not helpful. None of us are going to be perfect. We're human, we're flawed, and that's how it is. And I want to help people who are just beginning. There are tons of coaches and mindset gurus and all of these things that are further than me. But what I remember about when I first started was that felt too far away. So I want to help be a bridge for people who are starting and wanting to change but don't know how to change, and who also understand, like, you don't have to have it all together. Maybe just being out there and seeing that I'm messing up, but I get up to try again can be encouraging for someone else that, you know, like, man, she's was where I was, and now she's a step further. I can do that too. So anyway, once I went through that process, I started really paying attention to what I was consuming. I have tried to limit, not necessarily like just social media, but if I know that a comment section is going to be negative and I'm going to be frustrated, I'm just not going to scroll down it. And just paying attention to the people that I have around me, my friends and family, the conversations that are going on, working really hard on keeping my self-boundaries of, if it's been negative for too long, I don't have to cut the negative people out of my life, but I am going to limit the things that I share and the interactions that I have with them to save my peace. Not because they're a bad person, and it's not because really of anything that has to do with them, but it's for myself. I need that boundary because at this time I'm very vulnerable to the things going on around me, and I need to get back into a sturdy place. Just so that I can be my best self. And that has helped me be more loving and kind. I think one of the studies, I wish I could remember, it might be in Brené's book, but I need to look it up. But the most loving and generous people are typically the most boundaried people, because when they give, they're giving because they want to, and they have the space and capacity to do those things without the stress. They're not letting anything from the outside influence them and make them feel any certain way. And that finding was incredibly powerful to me, since I just have this huge fear of being called selfish or being viewed as selfish. It's really hard not to feel selfish when you're talking into a microphone and a podcast and hoping that people are going to listen to it. That feels selfish, and I struggle with that a lot. Like, am I doing the right thing? Because it feels like it's not the right thing. So, gone through all that. I'm very thankful to have this view now. I hope that it brings some value, even if it's not as big as what's going on for me. I just encourage you to take that look at what you are consuming, the different things around you, whether it's your music, social media, TV shows, the talk between your coworkers, friends, family, all the things that you're consuming, the input around you. and how it makes you feel. Like, do that inventory. I don't know that we necessarily do very good. I think we've kind of been, it's so funny because I think that it's split almost 50-50 of people who think society is too soft now, or like society is super detached. And I think both sides are right to an extent, because going to the extreme either way is just not great. But there is a healthy balance of checking in with yourself, noticing how it feels, and course correcting for what it means for you, and then setting boundaries, because that's going to keep you from, I would say, from going to the extremes, really focusing on what works for you. And if you're someone like me who's trying to put content out into the world, trying to help people, like if you're in any like social worker setting or teacher or anything where you're really helping a lot of other people, I would say this is really important, because it takes a lot of energy and emotional capacity to do those things. So when you take the inventory to know how things are making you feel, and you take out not all the junk, but take out what you can, you get this energy and this space to create. You get the creativity back. You have more time because you're spending your time more wisely. That's something that I'm excited to share about later too. I'm doing a Time Genius course with Marie Folio, and I just am constantly reminded. I have a sticky note I'm looking at right now, actually, that has a saying from her course that there's always time for what's most important. And I have to always remind myself that with my kids, when they want me to do something, like I'm better at putting down my phone. I still need to do a lot better. But like my kids are at daycare and I'm letting them stay longer. Aries loves that anyway. But letting them stay longer so that I can go ahead and record the podcast so I can get it out, because that means a lot to me. And when I do these things, is it a little bit selfish? Yeah, I'll admit that I do think that there is some selfishness to it. And that's okay. I'm learning to be okay being selfish where it matters, and doing something like this where I feel like it might also help somebody else, but it really does help me to get my thoughts out there, and just to know that I'm doing more than just nothing. Like, I don't want to get to the end of my life and think, man, I should have done more. And I'm never going to get to do more by not paying attention to the things that are around me and what I'm consuming. So that's my thoughts for today. I hope that if you found some value, you'll let me know below, or give me a follow, a like. Something that I am doing new, that again, this is really weird for me, and I don't even know that I'm going to be able to give you the right information. I'll put a link to my TikTok in the bio or whatnot for this episode, but I am trying to put myself out there more, and I am trying to get myself to do a daily TikTok or something consistently, just to try to reach more people, to put more positivity into the world. If you follow Gary Vee, he's very much into this, that people who are happy, or at least trying to be happy, we need to get louder and show that positivity. Negative people are generally very loud, and it's hard not to see all the things that are wrong with the world. But man, there's a lot of goodness out there too, and it's not naive to share that there's happiness and that there's good things in the world too. So if you have something to celebrate, I would love if you put that in the comments below too, or If you want to share your page and get a follow or something that you're excited about, please do that. I want to celebrate you. I want to share joy and excitement of your guys as well as mine and the people around me. I think we do not celebrate enough and we don't lean into joy enough. And it is a very vulnerable thing to do, but I have not found anything as valuable and life-changing as leaning into the discomfort so that I can enjoy and really soak in the joyous moments of my life. I'm incredibly thankful for all that I've learned and for all the people who have helped me learn it. And I can't wait to share more with you as I continue growing. So much love to all of you and much hope and love to you on your journey. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.